Alright everyone, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my list of what I consider to be the 4 best dungeons to run in Maplestory 2 right now. I'll go ahead and include 2 normal dungeons and 2 hard mode dungeons and also explain the reasons why. This is my personal list, of course, so some people out there might have a different one. That's totally fine. If you disagree, that's totally fine as well, but I will go ahead and explain the reasons why as well. Now, I'll just go ahead and say it right off the bat. I'll go ahead and tell you guys what the 4 dungeons are, so you know what they are, and if you don't really want to listen to the reasoning why, that's totally fine. I understand, but if you are confused or you disagree, I will go ahead and explain why I consider these to be the best 4 dungeons right now. So the list itself, let's go ahead and go into the normal mode dungeons. So the list is going to be Tronic's Bunker and Losery Pyramid for the normal mode dungeons, and for the hard mode dungeons, it is going to be Fire Dragon and Lubalist. So there you go, that's the actual dungeons. So now you know what they are, but I'm going to go ahead and explain why those are the best 4 dungeons, or why I included them in my list. So let's go ahead and go to the normal mode dungeons first. So the dungeons I mentioned were Tronic's Bunker and Losery Pyramid. Now, Tronic's Bunker is probably going to be the dungeon that most people tell you is the best normal mode to run. If you go out there and you ask a streamer or somebody else on YouTube or just somebody else who plays the game a lot, they're probably going to tell you if you had to pick one normal mode dungeon, Tronic's Bunker is definitely the one to do. And there's a few reasons why. First of all, it's very, very fast. You can end up doing a Tronic's Bunker run in about 5 to 6 minutes. But not only is it very fast, it's also very simple as well. When you go in Tronic's Bunker, there's really not any trash monsters. It's pretty much just a couple of boss fights. It's going to be one mini boss fight and then the end boss fight. But there's also a little bit of a tactic for the mini boss fight. When you go in Tronic's Bunker, tell your group to make sure to pick up the little electrical cylinders, the EMP bombs on the ground. And when you end up throwing them at the mini boss fight, which is going to be the 2 golems, it actually does a lot of damage. So if everyone in your group picks up those cylinders and throws them all at the mini-boss, you pretty much kill it instantly, and then Tronic's Bunker just becomes one final boss fight, and that is the entire dungeon. So it's simple, it's quick, it gives you good loot. Tronic's Bunker is definitely a good one. Now the other one on that list is probably something that you actually haven't heard from people before. Losery Pyramid, definitely not a dungeon that is talked about very much. Well, I wanted to go ahead and explain to you guys why this is on my list, and honestly, I actually think it is better than Tronic's Bunker. So, it is a 1400 gear score normal mode dungeon. There's actually 2 categories of normal mode dungeons. There's the 1400 gear score ones, which are going to be slightly easier than the 1500 gear score dungeons. So, the 1400s are going to include Illusory Pyramid all the way down to Casa de Luna, so the first top of the list right here. And then the 1500 ones are going to include Black Nov number 2 all the way to the bottom through Sanctum of the Sage. Now, there's a couple of differences between these dungeons besides the actual gear score requirement as well. If you go to the gear that drops, you'll notice that they drop different blue gear. The 1500 gear score dungeons will drop a different set of blue gear, and for me, that's the magical rune gear. And it's actually a little bit better than the other gear set that you get from the 1400 dungeons. This is going to give me the Ravenous Aqua gear, and if you take a look, you'll see that the Ravenous Aqua gloves, just as an example, these give 30 gear score, where if I go to the Magical Rune gloves, they give 34. So if you guys are still gearing up with blues, trying to get 2100 gear score for hard modes, definitely try to get yourself the 1500 gear score blue dungeon set, which for me is the Magical Rune gear. It will give you a little bit more gear score, and you can actually buy this gear from the black market. It's not going to be any more expensive because you get so much of this gear by running normal mode dungeons that most people just end up dismantling it. There's so much extra, you really won't have to pay any extra mesas for it. So just make sure you guys end up getting the slightly better version of it as well. But something else about the 1400 gear score is the list of epic items that you get is going to be different as well. So if you go ahead and you take a look, you'll see that the epics and all the 1400 gear score dungeons are going to be the same, but as soon as you go ahead and go to the slightly more difficult ones, you'll have a different list of epic items. So you will get a different set of BOEs when you run the easier dungeons, and interestingly enough, even though these dungeons are easier, have a lower gear score requirement, and drop worse blue gear, the epics are still just as good as the 1500 gear score dungeons, and they also, a lot of them end up selling for more than a lot of the 1500 gear score epics. So if you look at the list of epics that Illusory Pyramid gives, it's pretty much all weapons. If you look at the Tronics Bunker list, there's definitely a lot of non-epics, and generally non-epic BOEs sell for less because they don't give as much gear score. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but the epics in Losery Pyramid sell for quite a bit, and I've gotten a few epics from Losery Pyramid. A lot of them have sold for well over 10 million mesos each. On top of that, Losery Pyramid is actually super fast. It's actually even faster than Tronics Bunker. I have done Losery Pyramid runs that are under 4 minutes long. My record right now is 3 minutes and 38 seconds. So it's faster, it has a good list of epics, and it's also easier too. Because it's a 1400 gear score dungeon, the monsters are a lot more forgiving. The bosses don't seem to have as many one-shot or painful mechanics. When you do Tronics Bunker, you'll notice if you end up standing in the laser beam of the final boss, it's pretty much over. But Losery Pyramid is a lot more casual, easy. You can kind of not pay as much attention and still do just fine. And it's also super, super fast. So go ahead and try it out if you guys haven't already. I highly, highly recommend it. Maybe you guys will find you might like running it more than Tronics Bunker. So that's the normal modes, and now let's talk about the two that I picked for hard modes, Fire Dragon and Lubelisk. So Fire Dragon is probably a pretty simple one. It's definitely going to be the #1 most run hard mode dungeon, and it's going to be the #1 most run hard mode dungeon for a few important reasons. First of all, it's pretty easy to learn. Once you do Fire Dragon a couple of times, it becomes very simple, and you'll notice that you kind of really have to try pretty hard to get yourself killed many, many times. As long as you don't stand in the laser beams and you learn the pretty simple mechanics, it's a pretty simple dungeon. It does take a little while, unfortunately, but it also drops this really, really important Merpogath warrior weapon. It drops the Merpogath set, which is going to be for Chaotic Shadow Altar, which will be coming out in November. Now, this is going to be the weapon that you primarily want to focus on, and Lubelisk doesn't drop the Merpogath weapon. It drops a different one. So Fire Dragon, you're going to want to run it not only to get a bunch of really good epic gear to replace all your blues and get your earrings and your cape, of course, but you're going to need several copies of this Merpogath warrior staff. And you'll need several copies once you get to +10, of course. If you guys saw my 20 million meso mistake, let's not talk about it too much, but you need several copies of weapons to enchant it past +10. So every single time you do a Fire Dragon run, you're going to end up getting a weapon and a piece of armor and accessory fragments, just like you do in normal dungeons. It might not necessarily be for your class, but that's okay, because when you end up dismantling it, you can end up getting these boxes that are going to, they're going to give you a weapon of your choice when you end up collecting 40 of them. So you're going to need to do a lot of Fire Dragon runs to get a lot of copies of this weapon so that you can enchant it past +10. Another little tip that I would go to give you guys is, before you start enchanting it, if you haven't already, I would try to go ahead and get some really good bonus rolls on one of these staves. As you can see, I've saved up a few of them in my bank safe. I've got a really good one, but I'm trying to get even better than this. I know that's crazy, but once you start enchanting it, you can still change the bonus attributes, but it becomes a lot more difficult and expensive. So if you haven't gotten to the enchanting process of your Fire Dragon weapon yet, try to keep hunting one until you get a really, really good set of bonus attributes. So that's the main reason why Fire Dragon is good. The downside is it might be a bit longer than we are all comfortable with. I'm sure we've been in, those of us who are running Fire Dragon have been in 15 to 20 minute runs before. It happens. Now, Lubelisk is the next thing on the list, and Lubelisk is going to be big for a few big reasons. It's actually the hard mode dungeon on the rise. There's more and more people out there starting to run this, and it's becoming pretty popular. It is going to be quicker than Fire Dragon. First of all, you could definitely find a good group and do Lubelisk runs in 7 to 10 minutes. It does not drop that Merpogath weapon. It still drops all the regular epic gear, and it's going to give you the pendant and the cape fragments. But the main reason why people are running Lubelisk is going to be for these Veracant's wings. These are a BOE, so you can end up selling these or trading them. They're very, very rare, of course, but they are extremely valuable and expensive. They're hovering around 30 to 40 million mesos each right now, and that is because they are very, very good. Pretty much going to be best in slot for a lot of people. So the Veracant's wings, if you do get these by running Lubelisk, consider yourself a very, very rich individual. The BOAs from Fire Dragon, the Pyrosphard gloves, and the Pyrosphard ring, unfortunately, because there's just so many people running Fire Dragon, and these they're not really as good or considered best in slot, they're not going to be selling for as much. So the gloves and the rings, I think they're going for around 3 to 6 million mesos each. So Fire Dragon and Lubelisk are going to be my pick for hard mode dungeons. Anyway, I know that it could have been a short list, but I wanted to go ahead and explain why these are going to be my top 4 dungeons. 2 for normal, 2 for hard. Of course, if you missed the list for normal modes, that was Losery Pyramid and Tronic's Bunker. And then for hard modes, Fire Dragon and Lubelisk. Alright. Anyway, just wanted to go ahead and give you guys my opinion on this. I'm sure some people have a different list than me, but that's totally fine. Hopefully some of you guys agree with this list, though. And if you didn't know some of these dungeons, like Losery Pyramid, go ahead and try it out. Maybe you guys will find yourself something more fun and more enjoyable to run than doing Tronic's Bunker all day. So with that all being said, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for all the support on the channel. If you guys did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like. It really does help out more than you can even imagine. And if you guys are new to the channel as well, consider subscribing. We have passed over, oh my god, guys, I don't even know anymore. 8,000, 8,300, 400. I can't even wrap my head around it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'll start stuttering and I'll have to edit it out or something. But thank you guys. Thank you for all the support of the channel. It has been absolutely crazy. All of the new people from Maplestory 2 videos, welcome. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the videos. Thank you for all the likes, the comments, those of you guys subscribing, the positive feedback. Thank you, everyone. And as I always mention the last 20 seconds or so of the video, if you guys are interested in an iTunes or Google Play little giveaway, I just do it once per month, nothing crazy. But if you want to give yourself a small chance to win something for free, link in the description where it says October giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel for 2 tickets, and then leave a like or comment on the video for a bonus ticket for 3 tickets and 3 chances to win. Anyway, a lot of info at you guys in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments or on Discord or Twitter. And until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.